Good morning. This past mission trip was my 5th and final year as a participant, and I really couldn't be more sad about it. The mission trip week is consistently the best week of the summer and the week that I look forward to the most out of the year. And the reason is purely down to the amazing people I have met and the connections and memories that I have made. There are a few examples that I'd like to expand on. All of the trip attendees know Greg. For those of you who don't know, Greg has been one of the handymen that accompany us to the work sites for at least as many years as I've gone. And over the years, I've gotten to know Greg pretty well, and he is hands down one of the most genuine and caring people I've had the pleasure to have met. Greg, at the beginning of the work week, always makes a speech about how none of the work we do means anything if someone gets hurt, and how much he cares about us kids. He typically starts to get a little teary-eyed, but pulls it all together, and subsequently has a cigarette in his mouth, sets up a 2-story ladder, and destroys a wasp's nest with some of Wild West's stash of wasp spray. I've also learned over the years that Greg did not go to college, and that is the thing he regrets most in life. This past Friday was the end of the work week, and Greg made a speech about this very topic. This is when Greg becomes his most vulnerable and can no longer hold back the tears. His message of staying in school, working your hardest, and how much he loves and looks out for us year in, year out is of the utmost sincerity, and his emotions typically spread to some of the adults. Mrs. Becker. Greg's love and care for us and his constant goal to keep each and everyone safe while teaching us important life skills is just one reason of why this trip is so amazing. And while this is an example of someone who loves and cares for us, it is not limited to just Greg. And the feeling of being in wild and wonderful Pipestem, West Virginia, is one of constant love and care. The other aspect of this trip that makes it so special is all of the friendships and memories that are made. Over the years, some of the funniest things that I've encountered have happened on this trip, from pranks to inside jokes to just something funny someone said that one time. My fondest and funniest memories are from this trip. During my first year on the trip, Blake Becker fell out of the top bunk bed and then blamed 75% of the fall on Dean Wadley and the other 25% on no one. So I don't really know how that worked out. Or Jordan Stoner opened the drawer with all the utensils and said, "Whoa, look at all those forks." Some of these sayings and incidents have become standard stories and lines repeated on the trip. We all bond together through the work we do during the week, all the jokes, and the volleyball, can jam, card games, and numerous others that we play together. And each year I come back from the trip feeling as if I have found a new family. I think I can speak for everyone and anyone who has gone on one of these trips that being together for even just the 1 week makes us into one big family. People who become included in this family are the homeowners. Miss Wendy was the owner of the house that I worked on, and from day one, she was nothing but thankful for her good fortune, and she greeted us the first day by walking outside with tears in her eyes, exclaiming about how thankful she was for her little angels. She was very talkative with everyone on our work site, and throughout the week, we all became closer and closer with her. We built her a ramp coming off the back porch of her house, which wrapped around to her driveway so she could get out the back of her house, as well as painted the whole exterior of her house, painted the kitchen and her bedrooms, and cleaned up her yard. Seeing how happy and thankful she was makes every bit of hard work worth it. Every screw put in, every inch of siding covered in paint, every bit of garbage picked up from the property was worth seeing how much of a difference we made in this woman's life. Every new member of this family receives what is called a Jerusalem cross, and that's what I'm wearing right now, which features a cross in each corner of a traditional cross. And it's meant to symbolize the disciples going to the 4 corners of the world to spread the word of God and making a difference in people's lives, much like we do when we go to Pipestem. And I wear this cross every day as a reminder of what I have done to help people in the past, as well as to inspire me to continue this level of service to my community. Making a difference is what the trip is technically all about, and don't get me wrong, it is so rewarding and it's an amazing feeling knowing what happiness you have brought to someone and the light you've created in their darkness. but the family created and the love, care, jokes, stories, and fun that surround their family is what makes the trip the highlight of each year. Thank you.
This was my 4th year taking part on the mission trip. In all those years, when we saw the homeowner for the first time, they would say how thankful they are and give out a few hugs. But this year was different. Our homeowner, Wendy, as you heard James talk about, broke down in tears at just the mere sight of us. Seeing Wendy break down in tears really proved to me the power that a couple of coats of paint has on someone. However, part of me believes that she wasn't just crying out of gratitude that we had come to fix up her house, but more out of a disbelief that so many people cared so much about her. Watching someone have such an extreme reaction to nothing but your presence brought up a feeling upon me that I can only describe as humbling. She saw God in us, and I saw God in someone I had never met before.
Every good and perfect gift comes from above, and it just so happens my perfect gift was found in the little town of Matoko, West Virginia. I came on this trip thinking all there would be was painting, cleaning, and maybe singing a few gospel songs here and there. Little did I know this trip would lead me on a personal spiritual journey with complete strangers that would ultimately change my outlook on life and what it truly means to love. The best kind of love is the type of love that awakens the soul, makes us reach for more, that plants a fire in our hearts and brings peace to our minds. In just 4 days, I found myself sharing laughs and giggles with Lenny, Wendy's daughter, as if we had been friends for years. Lenny and I both knew I was there to help, but we both didn't know is that she'd be helping me at the same time. Having dealt with anxiety, I decided to help Lenny conquer hers after hearing it prevented her from talking to others in the group. Working side by side to paint her mother's room helped break the ice and expose a variety of topics to talk about. Among the many things we discussed, we both found out that we shared a passion for running track and helping others. From days ahead, we moved furniture together, ate lunch together, and even went shopping from room decor together. There was no doubt in my mind we were no longer strangers, and she was no longer too anxious to talk to me. At the end of the workday, while hugging Anna and I, the words, "I love you guys, see you tomorrow," flowed from her mouth as she waved and we parted ways. I guess I needed to hear those words. Why I did, I'm not sure. Those words have lingered in my mind. I'm sure most of us remember the TV show Lilo and Stitch, and the saying that goes, Ohana means family, and a family means nobody gets left behind. Maybe for some time now, I felt left behind. To me, those words, "I love you," meant you're personally important to me. I value you in my life, and I will always pray for your highest good. It seems as though I forgot the meaning of love and how exactly to love others. But that day, Lenny taught me, and she reminded me. Despite the dozens of cobwebs, the cluttered background, permanently clogged toilet, and chipped old paint on both walls on the outside and on the inside of her home, and the death of her father, somehow she remained happy and allowed herself to continue to love even in times of hardship. Lenny taught me that despite the hardship you face, through God and faith, you can make it through anything. God precisely wants to connect with those who are beat up, not with those who have it all together or correct. God wants you just as you are so that he can walk with you and on your journey. And on that day, Lenny walked with me on mine.
When going on the mission trip, one doesn't usually think much of it. You go in knowing you're going to help some people and possibly change one's life. But you would never think that God had sent you. You think of it as going on your own accord. But that perspective changes when someone reveals they've been praying for you for 3 years. Atlantis and I decided to stay behind at the site for lunch one day to talk with Lenny and Wendy. We talked about their family history, views on the paranormal, and especially God. Just that hour or so talk strengthened my faith more than any church service ever could. Sitting on her couch, she said something that I don't think I'll ever be able to forget. I didn't even put it on Facebook or nothing. Just prayed and prayed for 3 years, and God had sent me 40 angels. Wendy believes that we are all put on this earth for a reason. No matter how small, everyone will change someone else's life, most of the times, even unknowingly. She believes that you find your faith in your own experiences, and you can't force someone to believe in something. I can't lie. I have struggled with my faith. I believe in a God, but a lot of times the waters will get rough, and I wonder why he put me here. Why do I matter? what difference will one person like me make? Wendy had told me. She made me realize that you don't have to change the whole world to change a person's life. I was her miracle. To her, we were sent straight from heaven.